Good afternoon. My name is Ann Clements. I'm Associate Professor of Music Education.
And I'm Chris Stubbs, Project Manager for Penn State's Educational Gaming Commons.
It's such a pleasure to be here today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to the eEducation Council. Today we're going to be talking about a new course that's entitled iEnsemble, and with the help of the EGC and ETS, we're providing a wonderful opportunity for students. This came about through looking at viral videos and seeing a lot of interesting musical things happening, like this. I really was wondering what's happening in my field. We're looking for ways in which to expand music education to the general population. And when you get online and you look at those viral videos, you see people doing really interesting things with music that we typically don't cover in class. So we're trying to break the boundaries of what a music class can be at the university level, hoping that we're training teachers to go out and do the same, really changing education.
And I think the question comes up a lot to me, what does something like an iEnsemble have to do with educational gaming? And for us, the reason that we use games in the classroom is really about trying to change the conversation, to reduce barriers to entry in a lot of cases. And that's really what these sorts of apps and these sorts of devices allow us to do. It reduces the amount of time it takes to get feedback for students. It gives them more chance for experimentation and play, I guess, constructive play in a sense. So we view it as kind of a much broader use of games and the concepts of play and learning that I think really apply well to music.
We decided to focus the course around three things that teachers and musicians need, and that is improvisation, arranging skills, and composition skills. And so we've combined all three of those into the iEnsemble.
One of the important things about this course is that it allows students access to technology and tools that really weren't available 5 years ago. In order to study synthesis and digital audio and do creative work in those areas, it was necessary to have a specialized place to do it. Now the software is available on all of these mobile devices that can be taken anywhere and used anywhere, and the tools are very inexpensive. Some of them are free. Many of them are as capable as instruments and applications that cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. We've learned a lot from this experience, but one thing that we did learn is that if you put a group of people together with a common purpose and some tools that they're having fun with, they will find some interesting solutions to do what they want to do that you might not have foreseen. So.
They're not just trying to do something according to what they think we want to hear or what they think should happen. There is no should happen with this. It's just, let's see what happens. I find that we're more creative when we're not dealing with our own instruments, and when we have our own instrument in front of us, we tend to rely on everything we've practiced, and it all goes to muscle memory, and we just do the things that we tend to do all the time. By taking away our own instrument and substituting it with an iPad, that opens up the creativity for everybody because it's a level playing field. You can play any instrument you want, basically, with a string instrument, a vocal type instrument, a keyboard type instrument, a non-traditional keyboard type instrument. It's all about experimenting and being creative, and we tend to come up with ideas that we wouldn't otherwise on our own instrument. So I've noticed as they're working on their projects, they tend to stay away from the textbook approach to things, and they're actually experimenting and listening and thinking and not trying to do what they think they should do based on what Beethoven did or what Mozart did. They're going for the sound, they're trying to improve it, they're being creative and going outside the box.
So one of the things I think that's interesting about the way the iEnsemble has been set up is that what we're doing is not anything that can't be replicated. We gave the students the freedom to sort of choose their own apps in a lot of cases, so they had the chance to kind of experiment, try new things out. We didn't always know. It's a new course, so we didn't always know what was going to be the best app for particular students or the kinds of things that they wanted to create, the music that they wanted to ultimately play. So we thought giving them the freedom to decide on some things that they might be interested in would be a good approach, in addition to having some prescribed apps. We used a system called Casper that allowed us to push apps out to students as well. So it didn't mean that they had to deal with accounts and buying things and all that sort of stuff. It gave us the flexibility to push things out directly to them as they were appropriate and as the course was ready for them to use.
So traditionally, a pianist may not be able to help the trumpeter, but in this case, the collaboration degree is very high.
We talk a lot in education technology services about making sure that the technology gets out of the way of the learning that's happening. In this case, the instruments are a form of technology, and so with using a form like the iPad, it gets those barriers out of the way and just makes it purely about composing, about thinking theoretically about what you want to do, about creating music, and that's a powerful thing.
Some of the things we've had the opportunity to do in this course are work together in small groups and form small ensembles with our iPads, download unique instruments. One of my favorites was the Chinese zither, or use more traditional instruments through the GarageBand app and others.
One of the barriers to creating music in classes in public schools is learning the techniques of playing an instrument. And apps like GarageBand kind of break that barrier down because you don't have to learn the technique and you can still play and express yourself and experience different ways of making music with the app.
So there's a lot of benefits to using a device like the iPad in a course like this one. Reduced barriers to entry, low cost of failure, there's an extreme portability associated with it, there's great immediacy of feedback that allows for more experimentation.
There's a diversity of instrumentation, and there's also the ability to have a deeper learning and spending time with things that are more important than just the technique of instruments.
I think there's also a great idea about getting collaboration moving and moving all the barriers out of the way of that.
It's been an amazing pleasure to be in this course and to be working with such wonderful colleagues under the support of the Educational Gaming Commons with TK Lee and Chris Stubbs. Our intention for the future is that we are going to open this course up to non-majors and have this possibly be a general arts education course for them. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
For more information, check out our YouTube channel.